My peoples. Good morning. Good day. Grand rising. All the above. Yeah, just tapping in. Didn't want anything. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry if it don't sound like I got a lot of energy. I only been up since a little around 4-ish this morning. Past couple days been quite interesting, man. I wasn't able to make a video. I just haven't been there internally. But the past couple days have been very interesting, to say the least, right? So yesterday we went to the park. Finally drug out to the park. And it was just like, it was kind of odd yesterday, to be honest with you. It felt kind of odd being at the park and not seeing my son run around that park and just have himself a good time, and him not being out there with his sister and niece. It just felt kind of odd. You know, everybody go to the park and we missing somebody. You know what I mean? It just felt odd, you know. And that right there, you know, when you look at it on the physical end, man, that right there is what really will grab at you, man. It just, when you're sitting out there looking at that water, man, there's a whole lot of stuff that go through your mind. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, and it just seemed like, I'm be honest with you, it's a lot more work that needs to be done. For me, I got a lot more work that needs to be done. I ain't gonna lie, because it seemed like when, you know, going through this process right here, it seemed like every time you feel like you over one hurdle, another hurdle come right inside, come, you know, to replace it. And you got to deal with that right there as well. You know what I'm saying? Going through this right here, you got to go through the abyss in order to come up out of this right here, man. I ain't playing. I just hope I make it look easy for some people that's going through this right here as well. Because I'm going to tell you something, man, it's not as easy as, it's difficult. It's very difficult. I'm not playing. And I'm going to tell you something. You got to have some super duper strength to go through something like this right here, man. I'm not playing, because it take everything out of you. It take everything out of you. So if you could find that strength to make anything happen, hey, you do it. You know what I mean? Because that strength is very difficult to grab. Let me tell you something else too, man. I'm sitting up here thinking about everything. It's like, I hear a lot of people ask me through the messages, through the comments, I hear a lot of people ask me, how do you do it? Like, how do you cope with it? How do you deal with that? And for me, myself personally, like, my way ain't gonna be everybody's way. You know what I mean? For real. And the way that I do it is like, I go at it the raw way. I'm straight raw with it. You know what I mean? Meaning that however it come to me is how I deal with it. Like, I don't try to patch up anything anymore just to try to make myself feel better. You know what I mean? Because spiritually, it won't allow me to do that. Physically, that's what you would want to do. It doesn't allow me to do that. So, because spiritually I know that he's not gone nowhere, he's with me. The hardest part now for me in coping with this right here is the transformation into the spirituality part where I know he's at. Because we gotta let's talk about what we know, okay? One thing that we know for sure, two things for certain. You're not gonna see him on the spiritual end anymore. That's done. We know that. You know what I'm saying? And to keep on, you know, doing this to yourself physically, man, I would rather deal with trying to connect with my son spiritually than have to deal with the physical death of my son. That right there is where I'm at. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. That's what I'd rather deal with. It's difficult. I mean, you sit back and you look at this stuff on the physical end and you say, hey, man, the only thing he had to do was just stop at the light, bro. Just stop at the light. You know what I'm saying? When now dealing with the aftermath, what you got to do is you got to take all the positive stuff that you could think that you could find in this right here and try to make it make sense, because I've been doing it from day one. I've been trying to find all the positive in it. I've been trying to find something in it that, you know, that I can grab on to make this stuff make sense, to make me feel better. On the physical end, that's not happening. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that on the physical end. However, on the spiritual end, you will get that. You will get those answers. You know what I'm saying? You will get those answers. Like for the past few days, like when I go to sleep and I dream and stuff like that, past few days, these dreams done been something to see. I'm not gonna lie to you. They have been something to see. Man, my son done been in every last one of them almost. But it just seemed like it's just something else. You know how you be sleeping and you a dream or something, and the dream be interesting, right? And then your dream just switch. It just switching, or maybe you might have to use the bathroom. You get up, you try to hurry up and go back to sleep and try to re-dream the same thing again, and the dream just don't come back. Well, these dreams is coming back, okay? And they not switching up. And it's just staying focused on one straight dream, man. And I'm going to tell you something. In these dreams, where I'm at in these dreams, like I said, there is very peaceful. I'm not going to lie. It's very peaceful and it's quiet. It's quiet. It's almost to say like somebody is giving me a tour somewhere, dude. I'm not playing. It's like somebody giving me a tour. Somebody walking me around and giving me a tour where I'm looking at people just moving around, doing about their regular normal thing. They doing they normal whatever activity they're doing, but you can't hear them. And it's like I'm being shown around. See, before, what would happen is if I had that right there, it'll switch up and then I wouldn't be able to get it back. And I'm trying to figure some stuff out. You know what I'm saying? And this same dream every time, man, it's like every time I go back to sleep, I go right back to the same dream. It's like, and then when you wake up, it's almost like your memory is wiped clear. So you try to bring some of this stuff back and try to tell you what you've seen, but it's hard to really tell you what you've seen. But like I said, I mean, I can see my son in that right there, man, but he don't say nothing. You know, you would just see him. And so, I woke up one day, right here was day before yesterday. I woke up after seeing this stuff right here in my dream, and I turned my phone on. First thing that pop up is Google Photos or something like that. That's when I put the collage with the pictures of my son, because that was the first thing I seen when I opened up my phone. You know what I'm saying? That right there popped up. So I said, hey, that could be a message. You know what I mean? Good morning. Yeah, that was my heart too. My son was my heart. That was my little boy right there. And, yeah, I seen that right there and I said, Now, I believe in divinity as well. So, you know, by me seeing that in my dream, and then I wake up and that's the first thing I seen, and I seen him as well. You know what I'm saying? See, all that stuff right there is on the spiritual end, and that's where I can find them. But on that physical end, that right there is the part that you got to deal with, man. That's the part that parents have to deal with, or the people that's still left behind, is the physical end, man. So to cope with this right here, what I try to do is I try to take the best out the worst. That's what I try to do. I try to take the best out the worst of what's going on. You know what I mean? In terms of what do I mean by that? Like, okay, well, in terms of the physical part, let's say the physical part, okay? It could have been worse in terms of that right there, because we could have still been looking for the person that was responsible for this right here. His parents turned him in, you know what I'm saying? He got turned in by his parents, and I appreciate that. You know, I never got a chance to really let his mother know that I appreciate that, you know what I'm saying, doing what was right. She did what was right, you know, and I take that into consideration as well. It don't bring back my son, you know, and so I look at that right there. I look at spiritually, you know, it like the divinity, and I believe it was some type of divine, like, was that the way that my son was supposed to leave? I mean, all type of stuff run through your mind. Is that the way that he was supposed to leave? You know, just think what, for those vehicles to meet up at a precise time at certain speeds, where in order for this right here to connect, you have to be going this fast, you have to be going that fast, or this slow, or whatever. But whatever it was, it just met at the right place at the right time and caused this. So was that the way that my son was supposed to leave? That's something that I take into consideration as well. You know, they also say that hey, these aren't your children, these are God's children, and you know, he just borrowing them to you. And that's hard to eat, but it's kind of, when you look at it on his face, that's kind of like what it looked like. So in order to do this, and I hate to really say this, in order to really kind of cope with this right here as well, it feel like you have to go through a sense of detachment. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through a sense of detachment. You know what I'm saying? I have to detach away from the physical, from which I've known my whole life, okay, in order to cope with this right here. Because if I stay attached to the physical, I won't be able to cope with it. You won't be able to. There's no way you'll be able to do it. What you will have to do is you will have to detach from the physical, and you will have to try to align yourself as close as you can to the spiritual. I didn't say religious. I said to the spiritual, meaning to you. You have to get closer to you in the inside, because that's where you're going to find it at. You ain't going to find it nowhere else. You're going to find it in you. That's where you're going to find it at. And you got to deal with that person in you in order to cope with this right here, okay? You're not going to cope with it well on the physical end. For me, I don't cope with it well on the physical end. Let me get that straight, because remember, I told y'all, everything that I say, it's about me. Even if I missay it, even if it come out wrong and I say what you got to do, I mean me. So, yeah, that right there that's difficult to have to deal with. You know what I mean? When you're used to certain things, man, that just stop instantly, just like that, that transformation period, who knows how long that right there take. And that's where I believe I'm at in terms of dealing with this transformation period, where I'm trying to pretty much learn more spiritually, you know, in terms of how I can connect with him. You know what I'm saying? On the physical end, that's done, and I know that. And that's why I work with, man. And you know, having to juggle that, I'm not saying that it's the best way, but that's the best with it. That's the best way that I know how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And so I'm gonna tell you something, man. By the time you go through that detachment process, that right there is gonna apply to almost every situation behind this right here. I'm not gonna lie, because once you detach from that physical part right there, man, once you detach from that right there, then hey, nothing else behind that right there really, I don't think it'll be easy to go back to that, because you know where that road leads. You know where that road ends. So I don't think that it'll be easy. I'm trying to get that sun glare out the way. Sorry. I don't think it'll be easy to go back down that path. You know what I'm saying? After you done got past the physical part of it, okay? I don't think that. I don't think so. You know, I got another picture too as well of my son, not my son, but of me with my son in that fatigue, in them fatigue pajamas that he had on. I got a picture of myself. I'ma find it and I'ma side by side it, and I'm gonna show you, man. It's almost a spitting image, man. Almost a spitting image, you know. But yeah, you gotta get past the physical part, man, and see on the physical end. That's where the focus was gonna be at, because that right there was where I was working with him at. I was working with him on the physical end. I was working with my son from the time he could use his hands. I'm repost some of those videos. I'm talking about when he was young, like a little boy, like toddler. You know what I'm saying? I was working with him. You know, I couldn't wait to see what was to become of my son, man. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't wait to see, because see, the way that we did his birth and everything, all that stuff right there was different. We didn't have like a regular birth when it came down to him, or his sister for that matter. You know what I mean? We didn't have a regular birth. You know, we did a lotus birth, and we did a water birth. You know what I'm saying? The water birth part, he born underwater. And he wasn't born, you know, with his mother laying on her back. And then the lotus part of the birth was when we let the umbilical cord fall off by itself. We didn't cut that umbilical cord. You know what I'm saying? We did everything natural. You know what I mean? Like, everything was natural. You know what I mean? And so I couldn't wait to see what was to come of it. Unvaccinated, everything, man. I mean, we the whole nine. I mean, we really put in work, massive amount of work. And so now when he started to be able to use his hands and everything, yeah, I got him out there working with me, taking off tires and using the air gun at 3 years old and stuff like that. And I'm gonna show y'all. I got the videos, and I'm gonna repost them again so y'all can see them. Hopefully they haven't been deleted from Facebook yet. But man, that right there is a heavy, on the physical end, that's a heavy blow. That's a heavy blow. That's a heavy blow. That's really heavy right there, man. That's really heavy. But you know what? Like I said, I just try to make the best of it, man, at this point. And I know ain't nothing I can do about it. It really sucks. It sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Physically, it sucks. Spiritually, not so much, because see, on the spiritual end, you don't feel none of this stuff. It's the total opposite. I'm telling you, it's the total opposite. So I try to stay on that end. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay on that end of the situation. I try to stay on the spiritual end of it. Like I said, I ain't no ordained minister or no pastor or nothing like that. I ain't trying to say I'm none of that stuff right there. I'm talking about just you. I ain't talking about no scriptures or none of that other stuff. I'm not talking about nothing religious or nothing like that. Now, if you could take what I'm saying and match it and use scriptures or something like that as a resource to something that I'm saying that I might not be aware of, then hey, you welcome to do so. But I'm just talking from me. You know what I mean? Just talking from me. And so, you know, I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning, man. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. Something just said, get up. Just wake up. And typically, I do it. Whatever it tell me to do, I do it, and you hear it. That's your spirit. Some just said get up, just like some would say get up and go use the bathroom. Some told me get up this morning. I've been up ever since, man. I done came downstairs. I don't know what it was that made me come downstairs and sit on the porch at 5:30 this morning. And it felt good, for real. It felt good outside. It was warm this morning. At 5:30 this morning, I was sitting on the porch. Yep. Before I came inside my little office right here. Yep. And this is where I've been at, y'all. This is where I've been at. And I just been here just pondering, just thinking, man. You know. And like I said, I'll be all right, man. I'll get through this right here. We'll get through it. Don't worry about it. But I'm telling you, man, it's one hurdle after another, one after another. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by me having to do more work, because when that next hurdle come up, sometimes you don't never know what it's going to be. And it could pull you back into a place that you are working so hard to try to get out of, man. You know, yeah, and it's just something that you just got to hold tight with. You got to hold really, really tight with. You know, you got to keep yourself together. You know, at times when things are low, I wouldn't recommend drinking liquor or nothing like that right there. You're just going to bring a demon out. Yeah. So, like I said, I've been paying attention to my dreams, and I've been trying to bring some of this stuff back, but every time I wake up, man, that stuff just goes away. It goes away. And it's been the same dream, man. I'm talking 3-4 days in a row, not changing. These dreams ain't changing. You going back, it's like going back to another place every single time. Like typically, you know how your dreams would switch up and change? Mine ain't doing that right there, and it's been like that for the past 4 or 5 days almost. You know what I'm saying? At least 3 to 5 days it done been like that. You know what I mean? Well, my dream ain't been changing. Grand rising up. Yeah, and I'm talking about it been weird though, man, because when I wake up, I wasn't in no type. Typically, when I wake up, I always have like some type of shoulder ache or some type of body ache. These past few days, I ain't been having no aches waking up. You know what I'm saying? When I'm in these dreams and stuff like that, like I don't feel nothing. There is nothing to feel. I'm talking about nothing. And when I wake up now, for some odd reason, with these dreams, I don't feel as sluggish as I used to feel. You see what I'm saying? And so that's being in some of these places with these dreams, because before, like when they were switching up, when I would wake up, man, I would feel drained. It feel like I never went to sleep. Every time my dreams switch up, like I noticed that when my dreams would switch up, you getting 2, 3, 4 different scenes, and when they switch up, I wake up sluggish. But my dream done pretty much been the same. I haven't been waking up sluggish. And then I'm gonna tell you something else. In these dreams, I'm gonna tell you part of what I can tell you. I'm seeing like flash scenes of certain things. You know what I'm saying? Where you see people doing stuff, and no matter what you say, if you can say anything, they can't hear you. It's like you looking at certain things that's just happening, that you looking from the outside looking in, and you just can't see. I mean, they can't hear you. Can't nobody hear you. Everything is quiet. There's nothing scary. It's peaceful, very peaceful. But it's like you walking through, I want to say almost like a hallway. And you just walking down like this long hallway, right? And you looking at different scenes of different things, of people doing different stuff. And it's like somebody like Morpheus was on The Matrix, when he was walking Neo through certain things, you know what I'm saying? And how Neo was looking around at all these people just going on about their everyday life and everything. And Neo couldn't say nothing to these people. They couldn't hear him. He could hear them, but they couldn't hear him. It was like he was looking around like, well, that's kind of like the way it was. Okay, that's kind of like the way it was. And it's been like that for the past 4 days at least. 3-4 days at least. For me. You know what I mean? So, I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. I ain't never been through a time where I done went to sleep 4 days in a row and had the same dream. I'm talking about even through naps, y'all. It's like I'm going back to the same place. I'm going back to the same place. Even if I took a nap, I'm going back to the same place. Every single time. And it's like, okay, well, it's almost like you back. Come on, let me finish showing you. We got some more to show. Yeah. So I be trying to focus on that right there now. Sometimes you could be asleep too, right? And sometimes when you tell yourself in your dream, you be like, man, this is a dream. Your dream will switch on you. Whoop. You know what I'm saying? You can know that you're dreaming. And when you start consciously knowing, when you consciously know that you're dreaming, that dream will change, right? This is not what's happening to me at this point. For me, that's not what's happening. This dream ain't changing. When I'm consciously knowing that I'm dreaming at this point, typically the dream will change. It's not doing that. It's staying the same. So now the only thing you got to do is just keep your eyes closed and see where this right here stuff go. Every time I wake up, I don't know why. I wake up. I be trying to keep my eyes closed and I wake up. And when I wake up, the stuff that I guess I was supposed to see is like white clean, man. It's almost white clean. Like I almost don't remember nothing. I can remember bits and pieces. You know what I'm saying? I be, you know what I'm saying, remembering bits and pieces of certain stuff, man. So, like I said, I'm going to pay more attention to my dreams and see what else I could bring back. And you know, because I'm telling you, and like I said, in almost every last one of them, Junior done been in them. He done been in them. And that's what I'm saying. That might be my guide. He might be one of my guides on the other side, being real tough with me. And I'm probably not expecting that to be him, because I still don't know who this guide is. I still don't know who it is. It's some type of guy. And they've been working with me too, though. They've been working with me. I can tell you that right there, though. For real. Whatever connection this is, been working with me. But I'm trying to figure it out. It just won't hit me. I'm going to try to remember and write it down. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to remember and write it down. Yep. But that been the whole thing, man. That been the whole thing. The whole thing is just been focusing on getting on the spiritual end, trying to focus more on the spiritual end versus trying to look at what I could see with my naked eyes, because that right there is going to set you down. If you're looking at it with your naked eyes, you got to worry about it on the spiritual end. And that right there, in and of itself, trying to work with it on the spiritual end, what that right there will do is it won't allow you to look at it from a physical perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's more easier, in my opinion, to deal with it, to try to get to on a spiritual level, than trying to still work with something on a physical level, knowing that it's not going to work 100%. You know what I mean? Well, we got sun outside and we also got rain, y'all. How about that? It's raining with the sun wide open. How about that, y'all? Say, yeah, I experienced that, having the same dream over repeatedly. The difference is I'm jumping from place to place and I'm unable to talk to people I'm seeing in my dream. Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's where mine was. I was jumping from place to place in my dreams. I used to jump from place to place. Now, it's not so much for me, not jumping from no place to no place. Nope. It's like, you coming right back here. Come right back here. You know what I mean? We're not going to send you place to place this time. What we're going to do instead is we're going to bring you right back here and we're going to finish off where we left off at. And at this point, it really don't matter that you know that you're dreaming. It's like having an out of body experience every night, but I don't never look down and see my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like I see myself get up and then I'm looking down at my body on some type of stuff. It's like I'm gone there. I'm there. For real, for real. I don't see myself being asleep or nothing like that. I see myself at that place wherever I'm going at when I go to sleep. That's definitely could be your baby boy. Spiritual realm dreams. You're going into another realm. Just got to tap deeper. That's what I've been trying to do. That's what I've been trying to do. And you know what? That's the coping mechanism right there. Trying to tap deeper. Spending your energy and your time trying to tap deeper into that right there versus, you know, worried about what happened on the physical, what's happening in court, what's happening at cemeteries and all this other stuff and funerals. And, you know, you don't want to do that right there. You want to, like you said, you want to try to tap in a little deeper into that realm right there, because that right there is kind of fascinating. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, make you want to think like, shit, what's behind the veil? You know what I mean? Kind of, you know, intriguing, you know, and curious to know what's there, and where you can know for a fact and you can say, you can come back on the physical end and be like, wait a minute, I done been there, I done been somewhere. I don't know where you can call it, but wherever it's at, it's showing flashes of people that just been doing stuff, that's actively doing stuff that cannot hear me, and I can't hear them. I can only hear myself. But it's like we just quiet. For the biggest end, just quiet, just going down the long hallway, just looking at different flashes of, I don't know, it could be somebody's life or something. Probably mine. Who knows? It could be mine. I could be going down past lives from maybe, you know, previous lifetimes or something. I don't know. I can't even tell you if I recognize any of this stuff or not, to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh yeah, it looked like this, and oh yeah, it looked like that. I'm telling you, I'm going down this long hallway, and I'm telling you that somebody is pulling me along with it, like somebody got me by the hand almost. Like literally grabbed me by the hand and got me going down this long hallway where I'm looking at different flashes of people just doing their everyday thing. And it's like this right here for hours and hours, as long as I'm asleep. This stuff ain't switching up. So I'm going to figure out what that right there is, y'all. But that's what been going on lately in terms of sleeping and dreaming and stuff like that right there. For the first time in a long time since this right here stuff have been going on, this the first time it done woke me up, you know, at about, I'd say maybe 3:45, 4-ish this morning, something like that. It's the first time that happened since I've been having these kind of dreams, you know what I mean? Been the first time this right here done happened. So we looking at about maybe in about a good week, almost a week or something like that, man. Yeah. So I'm gonna pay more attention to it. And like I say, y'all, the coping way is to stay away from the physical. Stop looking at remember the last good way that you seen your loved one. The last good way that you could remember. You know, and that's the reason why I say them funerals, they really don't really help that, because if you go back to the last time you seen somebody, last time you seen them probably was in a coffin. That's not the type of memory of somebody that you want to have. You know what I'm saying? That's a last memory. You know what I mean? Looked at all that stuff right there. So it was a reason why my son had a closed coffin. My son's coffin was closed. I had a closed coffin for my son because they couldn't reconstruct his face. His face was dismembered. So it probably was a reason why that coffin was closed. As to the reason why, you know, it make me cope a little better with it, because the last time I seen my son, you know, alive, he didn't look like that. You know what I mean? And that was the last time I seen him. So that's what I got to go off of. Unless I go to digging into stuff and trying to see what the aftermath was. But before we get to that point, up to that point, last time I seen my son, we was laughing and smiling and talking. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And that's the last memory that I would have had of him. I wouldn't have seen him in no coffin because he had a closed coffin. You see what I mean? So I'm assuming that it's reasons why that right there happened. Why he had to have a closed coffin. Those right there are the tools that I use to try to cope with some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Looking at it from that standpoint. My son had a closed coffin because maybe it would have been different actually looking at your child inside a coffin. You see what I'm saying? See, I never actually seen my son laying in that coffin. I just knew that he was there. You know what I mean? I just knew that he was there. They offered reconstruction, but when they seen they was like, nah, that's just gonna be taken off the table. They took it off the table. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to sit up there and you want to look at that on the physical end, like I said, it's enough to burn a hole in the devil's ass. But spiritually, you know, this is where we at. It don't work that way on the spiritual end. You don't see it that way. Everything is normal. Everything is just the way it was on the physical end before any of this stuff right here happened, man. Before any of this stuff happened, man. I hate that happened, man. I really do. You know, I hate that I lost my son on this plane in that magnitude, because he really didn't deserve that. And, you know, and then this man, his family losing him and his immediate family, that, you know, it don't work out for nobody. It don't work out for nobody. I'm not, you know, happy about this right here. No stretch of the imagination. The only thing I got to do is just make the best of what I got to live with now, what we got to live with now, man. That's just the bottom line to it. And that's just it. That's just it. And physically, it sucks. Spiritually, you like, okay, I'm there. That's the way it make you want to feel like you there. And so in order to get there, what you got to do is you're going to have to go into those dark areas that you don't want to go. This right here is what's going to strengthen you up. Because I'm telling you, once you done seen all the dark areas, you can't see nothing else but the light. But if you still got hidden dark areas that you have not explored yet, you know what I'm saying? When you run into them, it'll take you out the game. You know what I'm saying? It'll undo all the work spiritually that you're trying to do with yourself. You know what I'm saying? At least that's the way it worked for me. You know? So if I don't explore the dark areas of this situation right here and try to make the best of these dark areas, you know what I mean? By the time I come head on, face to face with these dark areas, it will set me back if I'm not immune to it. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why for me, I go into these dark areas and stuff that other people really don't want to go into. You know, it's a lot of people that don't want to go inside those dark areas, and I understand why. But the reason why I do it is because after I done seen all the dark stuff, hey, you know, hey, there's nothing else to see but light. And so one of the dark things that I haven't did, like I said, I still haven't been to my son's, you know, grave site yet. You know, that's one thing that I haven't did yet. And that right there would be considered like another hurdle. You know what I'm saying? That you know, you do a lot of work and then you go in there and see that could set you back. You know what I mean? I haven't been down that in that place since we laid him to rest. Since I seen them do that little whine thing when they whine your loved one in the ground. Y'all ever seen that? When they do this right here, go to one of them corners and do this right here, and then that coffin start lowering inside the ground. You ever seen that? I seen it. I seen them do that right there with my son, yup. And then they came right behind and poured a whole bunch of dirt on them. Man. And that right there was back in November of 2024. Here he is, April 2025. So, to have to go back there, you know, like I said, I seen it. That was a dark side. Again, that was a dark side that I seen. And you just can't unsee that. You just can't unsee that. So, you know, if you strong enough to make it past that right there, man, you know, the other hurdles, everything, man, that's happened. I'm just assuming that it just gonna make you stronger. Right? That's the only thing I can assume at this point right here. Because if it's to break you, it's not breaking me, though. It's not breaking me. It hit hard. It hit super hard. Oh, yeah, you definitely sent the missile home. Definitely hit me with a nuke. But it ain't collapsed me. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough. But, yeah, surround yourself with more positive people. Focus on you, your mental health, eat fruits and veggies. Get your body and mind ready to accept and see it's a spiritual. Hey, listen, and that is true, because let me tell you something. Lately, I have not really been able to stomach anything but fruits for real. I've been eating a lot of fruits lately. And I'm talking about fruits and berries and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Limited on the vegetation part, but mainly fruits and berries and stuff like that I've been eating lately. And so when I go to eat other things, it's like it don't really sit well. Like I really don't even have a taste for those things. It don't sit well with me. And then I do some grounding too. You know, just kind of wet your feet up. For me, I wet my feet up. Now I take some copper strands, jab them boys in the ground, and just sit out there in the yard barefooted with the prongs in between my feet, in between my toes or something like that, and just sit right there for about an hour, half hour, something like that. Try to keep myself grounded and stuff. So yeah, that's the stuff that I do to try to work around dealing with the mental, physical, you know, aspects of this whole tragedy, man. Because it sucks, man. It sucks. People, you done seen yourself, your peoples lose some people. Man, stuff hit different when that funeral car pull up at your house for your child. That's a different type of hit right there, baby. I'm telling you. When they wheeling that coffin inside them, that hearse, and that's your child inside there that they wheeling inside there, man, you still don't believe that for a very long time. But I'm not about to get into that right there because it's going to pull you too much on, it's going to go back too much on the physical. I don't want to do that right there. And for me to keep on doing that, that's exactly what I'll be doing. You got to watch out for stuff like that. Even in venting, you got to watch out for stuff like that, but you can't keep it in at the same time. That's the confusing part, man. And you got to make sense out of all this stuff. You just got to make sense out of it. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to make some sense out of it, hopefully. Again, it's my journey. It's part of it. I'll come with y'all later on, man, with another part, man. I got to let y'all go right now, though. My phone gonna die. That's the reason why my phone gonna die. So, y'all have a good day. And share this video with somebody y'all think this might help, man. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I do this as well, man. I try to be as transparent as possible. Share it with somebody that y'all think that this right here might help. You do not need my permission to share. Share it, share it, share it, share it. If you want to. Okay? Feel free to do that. Y'all have a blessed day. And I get with y'all later on.